like knock knock
people.
knock.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my pipes burst, and then your blouse pops open, and it's like, can you fix my plumbing? And
Yeah,
all of
and
a
then all of a
sudden you're
sudden you're
on the
just
top
like
of a.
smashing each other and there's
Welcome to Too Much.
our podcast about, well, whatever.
From issues of the world to topics of lesser grandeur, we've got you covered with a little bit too much to say about everything.
So, let's start the show.
I'm your Russian transvestite hooker, Michael.
And I am balls deep in Drag Race, Cody.
All the way into Drag Race, aren't you?
Yeah, 2 seasons at
There's two of
once.
them going on right now. A lot of people are saying that it's the wrong move for production to do because they're not going to get as many views. But the American version, season 13, they had their highest opening night ever.
Yeah, because they had the show like on 5 different channels at once.
Cheating, but still great. Great for them, at least. I watched both the American version and the UK version, and I love them both.
It's different. They're very different, but I just wish that they weren't going on at exactly the same time. That's the only thing. Like the American one is more American, and the UK is just kind of like, let's have fun. We're just here for it. You know what I mean? It's not like all about like looking sickening and that kind of thing. It's more like we're just here to like take the piss out of life.
Right, that's true, because I find that when you have a newer franchise, they're not that preoccupied with what the fandom might think or how they look on TV. It's more like, I'm here to have fun. I'm on TV. This is exciting. It's like when reality TV was brand new.
I was going to,
But on the American version, it's like, oh my God, let me not offend
yeah,
anyone.
absolutely. I was gonna save this for when we get into like some hot topics, but you saw that like BBC blog post about that person reviewing the show, and they were basically said that you'll never catch what you had in the first season. Like the first season, no one cared. Like they didn't really know they were on TV and they were just acting so natural. And now she thinks that
But that's not
everyone's
even
like
true.
produced. I'm like, not really.
I don't see that at all. I really don't see where she got that from. She was talking a lot of shit. She was saying a lot of dumb
I
shit
know.
in that article she
Yeah,
wrote.
she called out the
First of all,
she called out the
the
two
Black
black
Queens,
queens, Tace and what's her name, Estina Mandela,
Stina
and
Mandela.
basically said that there was that part in the first episode when they one of their runway categories was do black gay, no, not black gay
Icons.
icons, but
Well,
gay icons from the
in
UK.
from indigenous to UK, right?
Yes, and so they, obviously being black queens, they wanted to do a black gay icon, but there's not a lot of them in the UK. So they both ended up picking Naomi Campbell. And so this writer was like, they need to do their they need to like look into their history. Just because they want to do like some fashion girl who's like current, they need to go back and look at people like Donna Summer and Josephine Baker and
I
Grace
was like,
Jones.
bitch, Donna Summer. First of all, Grace Jones, born in Jamaica. Donna Summer, born in the U.S. Josephine Baker, born in the U.S. Like, you cannot just be throwing out names of black celebrities that are popular in the UK.
Exactly. Like, did you even watch the show? The category was a UK queer icon. They can't just do some American. Like, the point was that they wanted to be very British, and that's why they picked Naomi
Right.
Campbell.
I mean, all the names this girl in the article was throwing out, sure, they're really great icons you could have chosen, but not for this category.
Yeah, exactly.
Not at all.
But
And she was so confident in that
I
bullshit.
know. Like, she wrote a whole paragraph about this, and it's like, you're really gonna stand up in that opinion, that trash opinion? Like, it was clearly UK icons, and there isn't a lot of black
How about
ones.
you do your research?
Exactly. And then
Know your
the day
history.
after the episode aired, I think it was the DragRace Instagram account put out this little like conversation piece about how highlighting some black queer icons in the UK. But it's like none of them were at the level of Naomi Campbell or at the level of any of the other white ones that the other queens picked. So there isn't a
Right.
lot
I
of
mean,
representation for them.
when I saw that, the only one that I thought on the list that the Drag Race producers put out was like that guy who's a singer. I forgot his
M
name. It's
M
like
N E
MK
K
Mink or
M N E K.
yeah, like Mink or something. I don't know what his name is. It's like a few letters. It's there's like no
I think it's
what
M
do you
N
call it?
E K, but I don't know how you pronounce
MNEK?
it.
Okay. So the only one I saw that I was like, okay, him maybe, and it was that guy. But then he's a guy and he doesn't really dress androgynous, so it would be like, how do I translate him to my runway?
Yeah, it would just be dressing
He
up as a
is just
man.
this. It would just be dressing up as a man with
Yeah.
dreads, and because he's not like a fashion icon and he doesn't really get serve looks. Whereas when you think of Vivienne Westwood, she serves. She's very distinguishable with her
Style,
look.
yeah.
Naomi Campbell, she has style. You think David Bowie, like all these people, like it makes sense to choose them for a runway, not these people that you're talking about. And the drag queen that they were talking about, the trans woman they were talking about, while they sounded more like underground icons than like, national icons.
Yeah. I mean, if you could even consider them icons, they're historical figures. Trailblazers,
Right.
pioneers, sure,
But but not
but not
icons.
iconic.
No one really knows
No.
them.
What did you think of the third episode of the American Drag Race?
Okay, the third episode was the best episode so far. First off, episode number one was tragically
Trash.
bad. So bad. I all the queens is coming out lip syncing one after the other. Then you had a whole elimination thing, and they had to vote twice. I was like, this is so tiring and it's so annoying. I rewatched it the other day because, guys, I'm on this radio station now. Every Friday at around 3:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch me on 103.9 FM,
Proud FM.
something Proud FM. It's here in Toronto. I do a quick little review of Drag Race episodes. Anyways, I was rewatching for that reason. I'm like, I want to have it fresh in my mind what happened. I woke up early in the morning. I watched episode one again. I was like, this is so tiring just watching these lip syncs, and they're not that great. Maybe one or two of them I was like, yes, but then most of them I'm like, this is just so meh. And then episode two came along, the winner's circle. There was a little drama between Elliot and Candy Muse in the workroom, but it wasn't anything serious. And Candy Muse was like overreacting, and I didn't love a lot of their raps. People who I thought were front runners just showed me that they're not that good.
Yeah.
Candy, I'm talking about you. Sorry, not sorry about it. And the looks that they were serving were not it. When episode three came around and all these B squad, loser circle, pork chop girls came in the room, I was like, one, y'all look better than a lot of the
They
girls.
were they were really serving it. First of all, so they did their
Yeah.
performance challenge to RuPaul's song. What is it? Phenomenon, which I think is
Phenomenon,
not a
yeah.
great song. So
Most of them aren't
the girls in
great.
the I like a lot of RuPaul's songs, but the girls in the episode before had Congratulations, which isn't amazing, but I think it was the better song. And then these girls, they get
Congratulations, you're
a
number
not
one.
great
That was a
they
good
get a
one.
not great song, but they did way
And they
better with it,
turned it
delivered
out.
way better lyrics. They all I mean they had three choreographers in the group, or at least three, four if you count Tamisha.
There was
But they have all those
right.
choreographers, so they really turned out great choreography, not only in their solo performances, like when they do the group numbers, it's like that choreography was good. But then even when people were
Right,
doing
but
solo,
individually,
the girls doing the solo were good, and the girls in the background were good. Because usually the girls in the
because
background are
everyone
just
in the
doing like a
background,
1-2, but they were actually doing
yeah,
stuff.
but everyone was doing things with them. I loved when Tamisha started and she's like pointing up and down, and the girls were going with
Yeah,
her,
and they would
and
like tag
I was
in,
like,
tag
this is
out, like they're
dope.
like clapping, giving like attitude. It kind of reminded me of like remember in on Canada's Drag
Go,
Race when they
go,
when they
go,
did the
go. No,
like the battle, and they were all going back and forth and like calling each other out. It was that energy,
yes, that
but
was a
way
good one.
better. But yeah, so the girls had like a not as great song, turned it out. I thought their looks during the performance were
Oh
way
my god,
better
the looks and the
than week one.
performances were
Other
amazing
than maybe Simone.
because You know what? Even Simone,
Nah.
because while I liked Simone's outfit, it was giving me very 2001 Beyonce performing like on the beach with Sean Paul or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just didn't feel current. It didn't feel like a pop star of today. And I don't know if she was going for a period piece, but it felt
Well, she
so.
has a very old aesthetic we've seen.
She does. But looking at everyone, like putting them side by side, only Olivia Lux could have probably gone over to the Pork Chop Girls group and like fit in
During the
because those
performance,
girls
yeah.
were serving
Yeah.
fashion during the performance. Everyone was actually in a good performance outfit. They didn't. When I first saw episode 2 and I saw Candy Muse and all the girls performing, I was like, okay, Candy Muse, you're in a basic ass black leotard, no embellishments, nothing, and a leopard belt. Like no pad. I don't even know if she was padded. I don't know if she was. She was not cinched.
Yeah.
Thigh high boots, blue wig, and I'm like, okay, this is so basic, but well, the blue hair kind of like elevates it, but it was really
Yeah,
basic. And when I think,
the girls, I was going to say the girls in
sorry,
week 2, it's like they just grabbed like quick drag. And the girls in week 3
it
like
felt very quick
actually wore
drag.
a look.
Everyone had a look on. I'm thinking of week 3 girls, and I cannot think of one girl that was performing that I was like, I do not like your outfit.
Even Utica.
Except for even Utica. I loved Utica's
Yeah.
outfit. Loved
Yeah.
it. The only person I was like, I could do without it, but it still is not the worst, was Joey J.
Right.
And I feel like one of the reasons why I was like annoyed with Joey J is because she kept putting out the same silhouette the entire episode.
Exactly.
She had done 2 runways already, and it was very similar to those 2
Yeah.
runways. So I was like, I've seen it.
Yeah, and
But it was still better than most of the girls from the week before.
they also did really great on the runway. A better runway.
Oh my god. It was by far 10 times better than the first group of girls. Some of my favorite, well, for the first group, the only 2 girls that I can really say served for me was Got Mick and Simone. And I know a lot of people loved Olivia Lux's outfits. I thought they were cute, but I just felt like the first one was not enough, and the second one was like, it just didn't feel like it fit her well, in my opinion. So I wouldn't even count her. For the second group, most people knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
My favorites was Rose. Rose turned the party.
Oh, in
Like her
in the first runway thing they did? Yeah.
right, the first runway they did, Rose gave a beautiful what do you call it? Moschino inspired dress with the rose at the back. That was so smart. She gave the prettiest outfit in that second vamp look. That vamp look was straight off a freaking runway.
Oh yeah. I saw the
Runway.
reference on Instagram today. I can't remember what it was. I think it's Alexander McQueen, but it was very editorial. It was like she dragged it. She
so
dragged
good.
it up versus the reference I saw, but it was still like fashion, fashion, fashion.
And one of my fashion queens that I've pegged her to be a fashion queen since I saw her in Meet the Queens, Utica, because she's like, oh, I make my own outfits. And I'm like, your Meet the Queens is so freaking well done. And I expected a lot from her, and she did not disappoint me. While I didn't know how ladylike her bald's look was, it was still an amazing garment.
Yeah.
And her vamp look was literally, it transitioned so well because you see the big, beautiful, bright balls in that look. If you don't know what I'm saying, it sounds weird me talking about bright balls. But in their second look, the vamp look, she was giving the balls were like dark and deflated on her collar. It was giving me very much, what's her name from season 10, with the good one and the bad one. Oh yeah,
The girl who's always on.
Eureka O'Hara.
Oh.
No, not Eureka.
No, the girl
Not
who's
Eureka,
always working
Asia
the world.
O'Hara.
Yeah.
Yes. It was giving me very that. It was so conceptual, so smart, thought out from top to bottom. And I mean, of course, we know Kimora Hall is a look queen. She's a very minimalistic queen. But she always looks freaking stunning.
Yeah.
So clean. Clean, clean, clean.
Absolutely. So again,
Who's
nobody
your
went
favorite?
home. Who's my favorite? Um,
Yeah,
I don't
for the
know.
entire episode.
I guess just Tamisha Iman, just overall, just that was her episode. Like
Overall, she won the
I told you
episode
the other day, like the whole edit was like Tamisha Iman. Like she
for
better
her.
not go home
Yeah,
next week. This better not have been like them giving her some camera time before she's sent home. But anyways, if she does
if
get
they
sent
send her home
home,
next week,
she already got the 100,000
Mm,
followers. So good for her.
I
And she's made a
know,
whole career
I
out of
know.
drag. So it's not like it's not this is not do or die for her. She's been making a living.
I feel like I'm gonna buy one of her shoes just as a keepsake.
A keepsake. Don't kill me.
Yeah, just like supporting the art, you
But
know?
I was gonna say, episode 3, nobody went home again. They lip synced for $5,000, which Denali won, and she was like over the moon about the $5,000. Not to shade five thousand
I'm
dollars, but
sorry.
like when you're
Yeah,
in the
because 5,000
U.S.
is a
and
lot
they
of
just
money.
tax half of it, it's like, okay, I guess that paid for a couple outfits that you got made to come for the show. But anyways, what do you think's gonna happen next week? Because we've seen that the girls are going to come together. Are they actually going to have a challenge together?
I think so. They are definitely going to be. You know what I think's going to happen next week? There's going to be two teams. This is my prediction because we already know it's an acting challenge based off of the preview. So the two teams are going to be this: whoever won their episode. So Denali's going to be the head of one team, and who the hell won? Simone. I'm
Oh
forgetting
yeah,
the first team
yeah.
already. They're so forgettable. So
Them other
they're going to be
girls,
two teams. They're going to have
forgettable.
to forgettable. They're gonna have to pick girls to go on their team, and then from there, they're gonna do an acting challenge with their groups. That's what I think is gonna happen.
All right. Well,
And I don't think they're going to be able to pick everyone from the group that they came in with. Somehow I feel like it's going to
it's
change
time to
up and
mix it
they're gonna
up.
be mixed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be. Although, I mean, now quote unquote losers group, they've like bonded together so well. Like there's such like a
I
sense of
know
teamwork there.
I would watch those six girls alone for the next couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
absolutely.
They had personality, they didn't, you know what, they didn't have any drama. There was no
There's such a
drama.
sisterhood, and what's funny is that when Rose first entered, like just based off of her look, I'm gonna tell you, I judged a book by its cover, but also the way she acted in episode
Thought she was
one,
gonna be a
I was like,
bitch.
this girl's a bitch. She's giving me Brita filter vibes, like thinks she's the hottest shit to come out of
Ooh,
New York since
Queen of New
New
York.
York cheesecake. And so I didn't expect her to get along with the girls so well. And I mean, she said in her interview, like, I think there's going to be a lot of sisterhood building, but then a lot of like beating them and proving you're the best. And that's fine because it
Yeah.
is a race, it is drag race. But I just hope she keeps like, she stays nice. I hope I judged the book wrong.
I mean, I can tell that she has a bit of an ego because she's been doing drag for so long and she's a part of Stephanie's Child, and they're like doing pretty well as that little group singing around town and whatnot. There is an ego there, but beyond the ego, I think she's a nice girl.
I hope so.
I can tell that when Lux beat her in the first lip sync, she was not
Oh,
having
she
it.
was pissed.
She's like, I am that girl in New York, and this new queen beat me. This is embarrassing. That's probably what she felt. And so when she was walking away, she's like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but all right, bye. Bye.
She just really could not believe it.
You know what? If I were doing drag for so long and I had such a great career in drag, and then some new queen doing drag a year and a half beat me at lip syncing, my bread and butter, I'd have been like, um, this is not my reality. This is not my fantasy. I don't accept this. This is just not how it's gonna go down. So I get it. These are performers, and they're very sensitive about their
Oh,
craft.
absolutely. So, other than being balls deep in drag, what's been up?
So we're in Toronto, and this week we're doing the podcast in a very different way. Normally we would get to like link up and do it once a week, but we have moved from a lockdown to a state of emergency here in the province of Ontario. and it is quite dramatic. They are being dramatic boots. I mean, we are nowhere near what's going on in America, thank God, but our government is very proactive and they don't want it to get to that point. So they're being a little bit more dramatic. They're like, okay, same rules as a lockdown. You only go out for essential stuff. During the lockdown, they were saying things like you should stay in your bubble if your bubble is your household, but you can mix with another household. So like my household and your household, we just see each other and we don't see anyone else outside of that bubble. So that was kind of acceptable. But now they're like, stay where you are, don't mix with anyone, don't go out unless you need groceries. As a matter of fact, just order groceries, have it delivered. That's what we have essential workers for, so you don't have to leave the house. And people are getting pulled over by police, which I'm hearing is not supposed to happen.
Why not?
Someone's tell I don't know. Someone told me that they thought that was not supposed to happen, but I'm like, I don't know. They're like, but people are being pulled over by police and being asked questions like, why are you out? Where are you going? Oh, you're not going to work? You're not coming from work? You're not an essential worker? You're going to your friend's house? Okay, here's a $800 fine. Go home. And I'm like, I ain't got $800 to give nobody, especially this government, so I'm going to stay my ass at home. And so we are recording separately over satellite, yada, yada. Technology fish.
Yeah, we'll see how this turns out. We'll see what the audio quality is like.
Oh God, I'm scared already. Because I do the editing for this and I'm not tech savvy at all. But we will make it work.
Want to get into some hot topics?
Yes, please.
So did you see CardiB has booked her first movie role? Like her first starring movie role?
Oh God, yes, I saw that. I saw an article, did not get to read it, but yes, CardiB is now going to officially be a leading lady.
A leading lady. Yeah, she was supposed to be on the big screen this summer. Because remember that Fast and Furious movie was supposed to come out, but it got pushed back like everything else because of the pandemic?
You know what I really wanted to happen? Because Fran Dresser was planning to do a reboot and have CardiB be her daughter. And I was like, I would really want to see that.
I don't know if that's serious.
I hoped it was. Because she moves quickly. Fran is one of those women who has the power in Hollywood. If she wants a show to get kicked off, it just goes, you know? She's been in so many shows since The Nanny. Not all of them
None
had
of them
multiple
successful.
seasons. I mean, a few of them were like 3-4 seasons, so
okay, not bad.
Pretty successful, yeah.
But on small channels.
Right.
So according to Variety, the movie's called Assisted Living, and it's described as a raucous comedy with tremendous heart, quote unquote, drawing comparisons to films like Tootsie, Sister Act, and Mrs. Doubtfire. I've never seen Tootsie, but Cardi plays Amber, a small town crook. Yeah, who finds herself in over her head when a heist goes wrong. While on the run from cops and her former crew, she struggles to find a hideout, so she disguises herself as an elderly woman and hides out at a place she thinks no one will find her, her estranged grandmother's nursing home. This sounds like it's Tyler Perry produced.
That's what I was about to say. I know of a show called Assisted Living with Tamala Mann and David Mann, her husband, and they're in a show right now called Assisted Living. So I was like,
that is
the
Tyler
same
Perry.
Show?
Yeah, that doesn't.
So is that what she's going to be in, or is this like a different show?
No, she's going to be in a movie. I said this is her first movie role.
This is a movie. Okay.
Yes, a movie. A comedy.
I wonder if this is a movie to the series that Tyler Perry has.
I mean, it doesn't say anything about Tyler Perry, so it can't be a spinoff of that because he wouldn't let anyone do anything that doesn't have his name on it.
For sure, producer, writer, director, star.
I think it could be good. I mean, we think Cardi B is funny. I don't know. Sometimes I get a little bit tired of her, but what do you think of this idea for her to star in a comedy that's actually going to go to theaters if theaters ever open up again?
You know what? I like her, and she reminds me of Tiffany Haddish, where Just on a regular, they'll say something funny or do something funny, and it will be like ha ha ha. But whenever they're supposed to like go in front of a camera and read a script, it comes off like forced and weird. Like I like Tiffany, but I don't love watching her in movies. So I'm assuming it's going to be something like that. Naturally funny people sometimes don't always translate well when they're being produced.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder if
I
she's
know that
going.
for myself.
I wonder if her. Okay. Anyways, I wonder if she's going to be playing a character, or if her character is just going to be Cardi B.
It would be smart if whoever is writing this writes it for her specifically, because if she has to play a character, it's going to be a challenge. Unless she's been taking acting lessons, in which case, then good for her.
Oh, I'm sure she's going to take acting lessons before it, but I would be more interested in seeing her not be herself. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see Cardi B doing whatever this character is supposed to be doing. Like it's supposed to be like what? What did I say? Like she's an agent or something, or oh, she's a crook. It's like I would like to see some like obviously she's going to shine through in the role, her personality because they're going to write it for her and her style of comedy. But I don't want it to be like just what we see from her on Instagram.
You don't want it to be like her in Hustlers.
She was okay in
Hustler.
Hustlers.
Yeah, she was fine because she was pretty much playing herself because she was that girl dancing in the clubs back in the day.
Yeah.
She was just being who she is.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
It was toned down enough that I was okay with it.
I mean, it was such a small role. But yeah, I'm happy for Cardi B. I would, even if the theaters did open back, I would not go to the theater to watch it. If it's on streaming somewhere, I will definitely watch it. That's that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, good for Cardi. Love her. There's a story that I came across the other day. Now, you probably know of this. Sugar Foods CEO and co-founder, Donald Tuber. Do you know the Sugar Foods guy?
No, I don't know what Sugar Foods is.
Well, anyways, whoa, having a really rough day with my voice today. He jumped to his death from his Manhattan apartment early Friday afternoon.
Damn.
Now, this 89-year-old wealthy magnate ended his life after jumping from his Park Avenue apartment. Can you imagine living in Park Avenue and being like, oh, my life is nothing. Let me just jump. Like, sign that lease over to me. Yeah, he did this around 5 a.m. in the morning, and close sources said that he suffered from Parkinson's disease. I don't know anyone with Parkinson's, but I do know that based off research, a lot of people who have it, they really find their quality of life to be diminished because of it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I don't know if he thought, I'm 89, I'm not getting any younger, and this is just really hard for me on a day to day, so let me just end it.
That is so sad.
I know, it's really sad. If you aren't too familiar with Sugar Foods, the company has, you might know one of their products, Sweet and Low.
Oh.
So they make the artificial sweetener.
Well, damn. Money can't buy
I know.
happiness.
It definitely cannot. I mean, Parkinson's, they don't have a cure for that. It's really sad what happened, but damn, suicide's never easy.
Mm. That's
What's your story?
understatement of the year. Did you hear that ChrisRock was almost on Friends and Seinfeld?
I heard something about that, and I thought, wow, ChrisRock on Friends and Seinfeld, this would have changed a lot of things. Because
Yeah.
these were two notoriously white TV shows, sitcoms that were extremely popular. Like
Yeah.
Seinfeld became a billionaire just off of that stupid show.
It's so hard because they're so like white. It's so hard to imagine him in the show or even in the conversation.
That's the thing. I think the writing would have had to be different. They would definitely change the writing style. But
Absolutely.
yeah, knowing the history of these two shows, everything was so vanilla. Like conversations, the things they made them do, the scenarios they put them in. It was hard to imagine Chris Rock in the 90s, knowing how he talks and his inflections and his attitude and everything. Like, how would you fit into this group, this cast?
Yeah,
What would Chris Rock say to Rachel?
yeah, I was also gonna say he's not a great actor, but Jerry Seinfeld isn't either.
True. I mean, Chris Rock's not a great actor, but to be honest, none of these people in these sitcoms are great actors. They're
Uh,
all like comedians.
well, not Friends.
Especially, well, not Friends specifically. I mean, Lisa Kudrow. But look at Seinfeld. I don't think anyone in Seinfeld was an amazing actor. They all felt like just friends sitting around talking. They felt more like friends than friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was like so regular and so nonchalant. There was nothing spectacular ever happening. Every conversation happened around a couch, walking to the fridge to take something out of the fridge and going back to the couch, or happening in a booth at a diner. Like the most random conversations. Do you like your coffee black? Yeah, why? I don't know. Something about it. It's a little bitter, don't you think? Is it? I don't know. That's their conversation. That's their dialogue in Seinfeld.
yeah.
And people lived for it.
I can. Okay, so he was supposed to. Well, not supposed to, but he was in the conversation to play George Costanza, the like short one who's Jerry's best friend. I can kind of see it.
Yeah,
Like
'cause
obviously the
George
show
was
would be
kind of the
completely. It would be written completely different, but I can
right.
see like him and Jerry being best buds. Like they are friends in real life now.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I can kind of see him on that show. I
I could
absolutely
see
cannot
that.
see where he fits in Friends.
What role did they have in mind for him?
He didn't
Did they
say.
say?
He
Huh.
just said he would have been in Friends as one of the black friends. Like he was going to be one of the main six.
One of the main six.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I'm like, I can't see that at all.
I just, I'm like, what character? You know what character he might have been able to play? Um, ooh, I forget his name.
There's
The guy
Joey,
that's
Ross, and Chandler.
the other one, Chandler. He could probably be Chandler.
You think?
Maybe. Yeah.
You know,
He's
Friends
very
didn't.
condescending and stuff, so.
You know, Friends didn't have a black person talk until season 7.
Are you kidding me?
No.
What, you know what? I could believe that because even when they were in the bar, the diner, whatever the hell that was, a cafe, I never really saw a lot of black extras. I didn't ever see one of Joey's girlfriends be black. I didn't see anyone really be black in the show. And they all had partners at multiple times. They were always at events meeting people and stuff, and yet none of these people were of color. So that's just what the industry was back in the 90s. And I guess that was their New York, you know?
Yeah,
White.
their version of New York is right. And it was Gabrielle Union.
It's,
Gabrielle Union was the first black person to talk on Friends. And she was on for
wow.
one episode.
Look how far TV has come. I mean, back in the 90s, we had a lot of really great black TV shows. So it's not like we were suffering. But for popular shows like that, not having any black characters, it was wild. On I can't recall of a black cast, a sitcom, TV show, whatever it is, not having white characters. There was
I know.
always someone white there. Even if living single, they were all black, but at some point I'm sure there were some white people in there that had a line,
Oh,
you
yeah, for
know?
sure. For sure.
And that just goes to show with black TV, we want to share our stories, but we're not excluding everyone else to be like, in our universe, we're the only ones that exist. It's more like, in our universe, right now, we want to tell our story, but we do have other people coming in and out of it.
Funny how that's
It's
different.
just weird. I know. You never hear people being black. I mean, I'm not gonna go down that road. I was about to say black supremacist, but not open up that can of worms. So you guys been listening to the podcast. Thank you.
But if the Too Much podcast isn't enough, there's a whole lot more content on Michael's YouTube.
Yeah, I post like every single week and I have literally too much going on over there.
Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and please drop a comment and tell us what you thought or what you'd like to see Michael do next.
Bye. Oh, no. Back to the show. So today's topic is sex work. Are you for sex work or are you against sex work?
Of course, I'm for sex work. What do you
Maybe,
mean?
of course. How would I know if you are?
Because I'm not going to knock anyone's hustle.
I see.
And I like
Would do
sex.
you? Well then, would you be ever? Could you ever see yourself being a part of that industry?
No, I can't see myself being a part of it. I don't think so.
Why?
Uh, Mostly because I can't see, like, letting someone do something to me. Like, you have to be very personable, which I am not. And you have to be kind of like down for anything. Like, if we're talking about like sex work as in like actually having sex with people for money, then you like the customer's always right kind of thing. It's like obviously you're not supposed to be abused or some like
I mean,
that.
it's not customer service, so
I know, but it's like they're paying you to provide them with exactly what they're looking for, which is
and
why
you have
they're
the right to deny service.
yeah, you have the right to deny it, but it's like I don't think that I could do that for people.
Well, let's define sex work for a bit. Sex work is the provision of sexual services for money or goods. Now, normally they are women, men, and transgendered people. Get that out of the way. We had a conversation the other day, and I said to you, would you be offended if you met some trade or whatever and you had a session and all of a sudden, like the session is over and they just leave some money on your counter and like left? Would that be like, would you be offended about that? And you never told them that you were doing anything for money in return or anything. They just left you money.
Yeah, and
Would you be,
I said I wouldn't be offended.
and yet you don't want to be, you're like, you can't see yourself being a sex worker? I mean, that's a definition.
Yeah, but I was saying like, oh, I wouldn't be offended because it's like whatever. I don't think that there's any shame in doing sex work, so I wouldn't be offended. I'd just be like, oh, that was funny that they thought I was that cool, money. But I don't think I could like show up to someone's place and they're like they like it rough, and then I'm just supposed to just accept rough sex for like money. I don't want that to be my job.
I guess it does sound like a very stressful job. That's for sure.
Yeah, you have to deal with a lot, and I don't want to deal with it. I don't
Now,
think I could.
do you know anyone who's done sex work?
No.
I know people who have done this.
And what are their experiences?
So I don't know if this person consider themselves a sex worker, but they have been paid before to perform sexual acts with people. So kinda yes, they are. If they're listening, they're gonna be laughing or they're gonna be mad. I don't know. Anyways, I'm not putting your business on Front Street, guys. So this person performed a sex act with someone. It was like one of those weird things people request you do to them.
Yeah.
It was like a golden shower thing.
Gross.
Yeah, but the person that I know, they were the one doing the peeing. So it's like they're not getting pissed on. So that's great, I guess.
Still gross.
I guess. And the person like paid a little for that service.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like a one-off thing or a twice, I don't know. But it was not something that was recurring. But would that person be considered a sex worker at that point if they just do dabble in it?
They were a sex worker in that moment.
Okay.
Sometimes you only
Well,
have a
yeah.
job for a day.
You know, that's a point. That's a point. Because the reason I was wondering is because Todrick Hall, as we know, he's like an entertainer, but he dresses up in drag all the time. And I remember him in an interview saying, "I'm not a drag queen. It's insulting, blah blah blah, because girls have been doing this for years as their career. I just do it just dress up every now and then for a shoot or for a specific thing. But I guess if you dressed in it and performed and got paid, you were that for that day or for those moments. So you are a professional. If you're getting paid for something, you're a professional, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, he did drag, but he's not a drag queen.
I mean, that's not his only job. Just like I'm pretty sure a lot of sex workers, it's not their only job. They probably go to school at daytime or they probably work at Tim Hortons during the day. Like, but they are sex workers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're a drag queen and you're a singer and you're a dancer and you're all of these things. So yeah, the person I know that did the golden shower thing, they said their experience was fine. It's like a little weird, but it's not hurting them because there's no penetration, there's no touching, there's no intimacy. It's
Hmm.
like stand over there, let me piss on you and let me go home.
I wouldn't even want to do that.
Yeah, I've never I can't, I'm just so anti gross stuff. Anything that's a little nasty just like freaks me out. So I don't know if I would be able to stomach that.
I just don't
I
like. I don't like. A lot of people get off to like humiliation and like submissive, dominant stuff. I don't like any of that. So I think that's another reason why I wouldn't want to do sex work because it's like. But then the thing is, I don't know. It's hard because it's like you're getting paid, so it's like just do the job.
Yeah, just
But
do it and get over with it.
I've always had jobs that I liked. Like I've never had a job that I didn't want to do.
Oh God, I had a job that I hated. Like that job made me physically ill. I went to the doctor. The doctor told me like I had vertigo. I was like, how did I get vertigo? Where like out of the blue. I've been fine. And the minute I would get to the building to walk inside, I felt physically ill. By the time I got upstairs and walked in, it was like like my body, I just couldn't control it. I was like, this is crazy. Is there like asbestos in this room? Like, what is making me react this way? And when I left that company, I was like so happy. I was like, I really just had a bad reaction to this place. Like, this job really drained my energy.
Nah, every job I've ever had, I've loved. But I also like work, so that probably helps me love jobs. But I don't know if somebody wanted me to like humiliate them or hurt them. I don't, it wouldn't sit right with me. I'm also not a great actor, so it's like, I don't know if I would be super good at it.
I don't know. I could probably be like a dominatrix or something. Like, slap some people around.
No, it couldn't be me. The people who want regular sex, the people who just like, yeah, the people who want regular sex, send them my way. But then a lot of people not a lot of people, but some people who use sex workers are unattractive.
A lot of them are because, yeah, because a lot of them go to sex workers because they find it hard to connect with people in the real world.
Yeah, I would say some of them. I would say that's a stereotype. I think there's a lot of attractive people that use sex workers.
But people who use sex workers, it's either that you are damaged mentally and you find it hard to connect with people. I'm just saying, like, you find it hard to connect with people and meet people. That's why you're like, I gotta go pay for this. Or you just have a lack of intimacy where you don't want to have to make love with a partner. You just want to, bang bang with some stranger and get it over with. In that case, I'm like, choke the bishop. Like, use your hands. Why you gotta go
Because
pay
it's
for
not the
that?
same.
Ugh, the day I have to pay for something like that, I know it's over for me.
A lot of people
I was
don't have to. No one has to. It's not like you're getting oxygen. You want to.
no, it's like some people they feel like they're gonna explode if they don't get to relieve themselves. And I guess that's the only way they can get to relieve them. It's like, why do you think guys go to the strip club so often? They don't think they have to or they just want to. If it's just a want, how is it that you go so freaking often? You can't want something all the time. At that point, it's a need, in my opinion.
No, it's just a want.
Yeah, if you want something every day, you're addicted, and it's now become a necessity in your life.
I guess there's
And
an
there's
argument
some
for that.
guys. Every day they leave work, they jump by to the strip club at Magic City and they throw away $50 and they come home to their girlfriends and their kids like, sorry, I couldn't get milk, no cash.
I
you
mean, if
know,
it keeps them sane, it keeps them sane.
I know somebody else that I know that did it. They did it for a little while, and when they told me that it, I was a little shocked, but not really, because they're a little wild and like adventurous. So I'm like, this isn't far off from your brand, but they're like the type of people they would be with, were like not appealing at all. As you said, a lot of them are not great to look at. A lot of these people are people you would never like talk to in real life, yet let alone have them lay on top of you.
Mm.
And this was like this was a decent looking person and everything. I'm like, in real life, they would not have a chance with you. But in this world that you ended up in, just gross, just gross.
Well,
Some
you're getting
old
paid.
50-something-year-old man out of shape having their big gut squishing you out. Oh God, no.
See, I don't think. See, I'm not shallow, so I don't think I would mind that. I just wouldn't want people who are like unhygienic. Like if so,
Yeah, but the
because they
thing
don't
is,
they don't have to like clean up to see you. Like there's no obligation. It's not like when you hook up with someone or you go on a date or something. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like
because
you're paying them, so you just show up as you are. Like I don't give a
you could
shit
be
what
working
they
a
think of
12
me.
hour shift at the construction site, just show up with like cement on your fingernails and a moldy, cheesy foreskin dick, and just be like, well, I'm paying you, so deal with it.
Exactly. That would
hold
that
your
would be the hard part. But
hold
like
your breath for the next 5 minutes while I'm on top of you.
yeah, and old people would be a hard part too. But if people are like unattractive, it is what it is.
You know why I couldn't do it?
Why?
One, for a plethora of reasons, but I just don't see myself like I am visual, and if I don't find the person attractive, then there's no part of me that's going to be aroused
You just
at
imagine
all.
things in your head.
No, it really doesn't work for me that well. Like
Well,
if
you
I'm
could
not
never do it then.
attracted, yeah, if I'm not attracted, I won't even have function in that moment. Apart from that, when I talk to these people that I know that have done things like this, what the paycheck they get, I'm like, that's not even anything for me to go demean like I will go work at Burger King at this point,
Yeah, but it's
literally.
less work.
I don't think it's less work. You know why? Because I see sex as a really spiritual act. I see sex as someone taking energy from me, someone swapping energy with me, and so I don't want just some bad juju all up in my spiritual, you know, home. Like this is a real temple here for me. My body is a real temple.
Yeah, but it's
And
still
just
less work.
being with randoms, it's like it drains you. You don't get
Yeah, for
drained
some
after being with
people.
some weirdo that's like, ugh, what just happened? That was not it.
I don't think I would feel drained. No.
Even talking to, like, just talking to people that I don't really want to, afterwards, I'm like, well, that just drained my energy.
That would be
Made me
the other hard part for me. Like,
having a
let's
conversation.
just fuck. Why are you talking? And a lot of people like want to talk because it's like, it's about companionship sometimes, right? So it's
Yeah,
like before and after they want to talk. Like some like sex workers, like they meet up with people they don't even have sex. They'll just like
yeah, they're
talk
just
and
like,
stuff or like hang out
listen.
or like cuddle and things like that. I'm like, oh, miss me with all that stuff. Just like come in, dim the lights, bang, and then leave.
Can you imagine a sex worker like having their own freaking issues? Because if you're a sex worker, you got your own stuff to deal with at that point. And some guy coming in, oh, I'm up for this promotion and I have to go up against this person. Oh, and my wife doesn't like to suck dick, and I'm so annoyed. My kids are such assholes. Yada yada yada. Meanwhile, you're sucking his dick and like he's like choking you. You're like, tell me more. Being a therapist, I cannot imagine. No shade. Like, these sex workers are heroes in their own right. They're doing the Lord's work. Because
It's
God knows
tough.
if some of these people, if they weren't able to go and have that experience, they'd probably be jumping out of a Park Avenue window too. You know,
Mm.
you never know.
You know what I think is so sad? The like disabled people who like hire sex workers.
Ooh, that is sad.
I know.
Yeah,
Those are
sometimes
those sex workers are the real angels.
I know. Because we're not physically or mentally disabled, that we know of currently, we don't really think of people who are on a daily basis. Like, it doesn't cross my mind every day, like, there are people out here that really are paralyzed and can't walk, or there are people out here that are really mentally disabled and they don't have an easy time navigating the world because of these things or whatever. But there are people like that, and they do have a hard time getting around and just being amongst everyone else. And they do have needs and urges. And some thinking about it just right now, it's like, how do they deal with that? How do they find that release? How do they connect with someone else who they're compatible with, like physically, emotionally, sexually, and they want to have that connection?
They often hire someone.
Did you watch that show? I cannot remember its name. It's this guy. He has some type of disability, and he got a job, but he lied to everyone to say he got hit by a car. That's why he walks funny.
Yes.
But
Where's the second season of that?
I know. I think it came out early last year, so maybe because of the pandemic, they weren't able to reshoot.
I feel
But
like it
yeah,
was so long ago. I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about, and it was really good.
maybe you can Google it. I don't know. Um, it was such a good show to shine a light into the life of a disabled person, because he was disabled and he was gay and he's an adult and he's trying to navigate moving out of his mom's house, because a lot of them have caretakers, and he's like, well, I'm older now and I really want to learn to live by myself, because hey, you're my mom. I might outlive you. If I outlive you, who's going to take care of me? Am I going to pay um, PS like personal support workers for the rest of my life, or am I going to try and figure this out? He
Yeah.
moved out, lived on his own, tried to like get things done, try to navigate relationships as a gay person with a disability. Listen, gay people are so freaking shallow. So freaking shallow.
It was called Special, by the way. I just looked it up.
Special?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard enough to find a genuine person as a regular looking average gay man, much less even a freaking good looking gay man. What chance does someone who has physical disabilities or mental disabilities have for love in the gay community? It's very slim.
Yeah. And I just remember actually on the show, he hired a sex worker one day.
I don't think I watched that episode.
Oh, yeah. He hired a sex worker. He was really nervous about it, but yeah, I think
Oh,
it
I
went
did.
well.
I did watch it. They did have sex, and he liked the guy, and the sex worker was very chill. Like, it wasn't one of those seedy things where he had to pull up in a car in a dark alley. It's like you come over to the guy's house.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Modern day. I was reading this article one day about how sex workers are like changing their the way they make their money during the pandemic.
I mean, OnlyFans, hello.
Yeah. But it's like especially for, older sex workers who are used to like just doing things like in person. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, how are they coping? Because most of their fans, I don't think, well, their clientele, I don't think are like going to sign up for OnlyFans to pay a monthly subscription.
Exactly. It's funny how sex work has kind of blown. I mean, it depends on if you consider that sex work just like taking nude pictures and putting them on the internet. Um, but it's interesting how it's like how it's evolved in this like modern world. It's like now so many people are doing OnlyFans. And is that,
I mean,
I guess that's considered sex work, right?
yes, I would consider it sex work. If you look back at the history of sex work, I mean, it's been around since like BC, before Christ. Sorry. You would have brothels back in the day. You would have growing people on the corners of streets and stuff, and people being escorts so you can take them into your home and they're a little bit cleaner and blah, blah, blah. Now it's all about the internet. So you go and you watch them do things. You have porn stars. Like the porn industry was so huge in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. It's not that big now, I think, because so many amateur people have access to platforms where they can showcase their art. I'm going to call it art and have people pay for it.
And it's better.
Well, I don't know. I don't watch these things. So.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, nobody wants to watch like a studio produced pornography anymore. They want to like see real people who seem like they actually want to have sex with each other. You know what I mean?
Like they're enjoying each other's company.
Like people aren't into the cheesy acting and the like two
like
people.
Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My pipes burst, and then your blouse pops open, and it's like, can you fix my plumbing?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're just like smashing each other, and there's all this screaming because it feels so good. It's like people aren't into
the
that.
Screaming took me out. I'm like, why are they so loud?
They want real people.
Are you enjoying yourself or are you dying?
Exactly.
Meanwhile, on the amateur side, sometimes it's so quiet, you're like, are they doing it?
Some people like it quiet. It's real life.
Like mimes having sex.
Mimes having sex.
Now, we live in Canada here. Do you know what the laws are for sex workers here in Canada?
I think that you can... sex work is legal, but you can't solicit.
Yeah.
Which is...
weird. Like makes no sense.
Yeah, because like how are you supposed to do it without asking someone if they want it?
I'm just looking at something here and it's like talking about Montreal. It says happy endings legal or not in Canada. Have you ever had a happy ending?
I can't believe you would ask me that in this public forum.
Oh, sorry.
No, I have not had
whisper
a happy
it to
ending.
me. Whisper it.
I have not had a happy ending.
It says while happy endings are legal in Montreal, they are not provided by certified. What? Okay, they're not provided by certified and licensed massage therapists. Okay.
Well, that makes sense.
So I guess just like a regular person can give you a happy ending?
Yeah.
Ooh, so it's saying that in these services, they're provided by normally people who work in athletic therapy clinics, gyms, and spas.
Athletic therapy?
I'm like, so that's what they're doing in these like athletic camps, making sure.
I would say mostly the spas. I don't know who wrote that.
I don't know. This is crazy. But yeah. Sex. It says under Bill C-36, sex workers are considered victims of sexual exploitation. Are they? Because I believe they want to do this.
It depends.
For sure. I mean, for the
some people are victims.
If you're like trafficked and you're being forced to do this by a pimp, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about people who are working their 9 to 5 and they decide this is not paying me enough and I want to go and sell pussy on the corner because that's what I feel like doing.
That happens a lot more these days.
These days, people are a lot
we're sex positive.
More open. Yeah, they're like, this is what I feel like doing. It's my body. Why not make money for me?
But that's why when they bust up in on sex workers, the girls don't get charged.
Where?
Like when a police like busts in on like some sex work, they don't
Hmm.
charge the girls.
Well, for Canada, for sure, but for the States, they do. Because in Canada, if you're the one selling it, it's legal, totally fine. But if you're the one buying it, it's a crime,
Hmm.
which is like counterproductive. It's like, why is it that it's legal to sell, but you're not allowed to buy it? Like, I don't
Because
get it.
I think they're trying to keep the girls, because the law says that the girls are victims.
Oh, child. It's like just outlaw it in general because you can't
Excuse
have
me?
one law saying you cannot have one law saying that it's fine to go sell this,
So you think
but
they
if
should
any
outlaw sex work?
okay, you're putting me on a spot here. I'm
I'm not
just
putting you on
saying,
the spot. I'm asking you to clarify what you just said.
I don't care who wants to sell it, but I think it's weird that you're telling people it is okay for people to sell it, but nobody's allowed to buy it.
So what you meant to say was they should just legalize it.
I'm a conservative, so I don't really have an opinion on that right
Uh
now.
huh. Yeah. Exactly. Socially conservative, except when it comes to gay.
Pretty much that.
Jeez.
Hello. People can
Legalize
have
sex,
can
legalize weed, legalize hard drugs.
people have this weird thing about if you legalize hard drugs it will like control it. I don't think so.
It's
I
about
do
putting
not
it
think
out in the
so.
open.
Can you imagine because we in Ontario, like Canada has legalized it fully. So there's like three dispensaries in my community. Every street you walk on there's a weed shop. And you see all these people pulling up and like buying weed and CBD and all that type of stuff. Can you imagine if hard drugs were legalized?
You think more people would
Seeing
buy it?
Oh, I'm just saying, look, when you walk downtown Toronto, you see long lines of people trying to get into the weed store. Can you imagine beside that a cocaine store, a meth store, or whatever, and you just see long lines of people? I'm gonna be looking at y'all crazy, like,
I'm going to tell you, I'd be fine with it.
yeah, you would. You're that type of guy.
I think most people die from overdoses of like
Because,
dirty drugs.
I'm sorry, there's such a thing as clean drugs.
Like pure.
Oh, child. I don't have enough knowledge about what drugs are clean and dirty, so I couldn't speak on
Like
that.
a lot of people buy drugs and it's like laced with fentanyl. So then they
That'll learn
die
you.
because it's a fentanyl overdose. It's like they're always taking the same amount that they usually do, but then they get one that isn't pure. If these things were legalized, then they can put in regulations and things like that to help keep the supply clean. I don't think that more people smoke weed now that it's legal than the people who did before. So why would more people start doing hard drugs? And I don't think we should be
Um,
sending people to prison just because they do drugs.
no, that I agree with. Everything else, I was like, sure, whatever. But what I do agree with is you should not be sending people with addiction problems to jail.
And
Like,
we wouldn't send them to jail if it wasn't illegal.
no, where they need to go is rehab.
So there you go.
Yeah, the rehab is so that they don't continue to use drugs, not to.
So legalize it and put the money that you used to put into busting drugs and stuff like that into providing people with resources like rehab.
So what you pretty much what you're talking like right now. You're talking like a real capitalist. You're like legalize hard drugs so we can make more money for the economy because people are gonna buy that shit. Then we're going to have another booming industry, which is mental health care because or addiction. A lot of people are going to be using it so much that some of them are not going to be able to function well. They're going to have to take time off from work to go to rehab for months at a time, and that's something the government's probably going to have to cover for insurance, or maybe that's something that insurance companies are now going to provide more frequently in packages, and that's just like creating more industries and more money. But is it good for the people? I don't think so.
Well, that's your opinion. And I would say it's more socialist than capitalist, actually.
Well, I'm a socialist and I don't agree.
We can agree to disagree.
Yes, we can. We had a really good conversation today.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. Like it flowed well. I liked it. We talked about sex work and how you are against people living their truths and like selling pussy for money. You were
That's
like,
you.
screw them people.
You said
Oh
don't
no.
legalize it.
Oh no. I'm pretty sure I said I'm here for it. I would do it. I condone it. I'm a champion for it. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
You didn't say that you would do it. Would you do it? No, you wouldn't.
No, no,
You
of
said you
course
couldn't
not.
even get going for the wrong person.
I'm
And you don't want people
joking.
stealing
Of
your
course, I
energy.
could not do that. I couldn't do it. It's not for me, guys. God bless everyone who does it. You guys are pretty strong mentally and all of that. It's just not for me. If
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
in
it
a
takes a
position
special type of
where
person.
I'm forced to do that for money, I don't know how I would cope because I think it would, because I'm a very strong person mentally, but I think that would break me. Having to just lay there and, no, it would break my spirit. Having to lay there and just have people have their way with me to survive.
Oh, I think I could. If I had to do it, I could do it. But
But
if I have the choice, no.
nowadays, though, it seems a little different because it's more empowering because people are just like, oh, I love sex and I'm just getting paid for it. So it's a bonus. And they
Hmm.
choose the clients they want to do it with. So someone
Yeah,
might come up and be like, hey, you want to have fun? They'd be like, nope, sorry, I'm good. And if
yeah,
someone else comes
exactly.
and they like them, they're like, yeah, come on, let's have some fun. Here's my
That's an
rates.
that's another thing about how like these porn studios are so much smaller because everyone's doing amateur now. They pick who they have sex with. Like if you're a porn star and now you have your OnlyFans, you're only doing scenes with people you actually want to do scenes with. It's not some
Right.
studio or director assigning you, okay, you're gonna do this and with this person.
There's not
It's like
like
they
50
they,
lights on you and fluffers and shit.
they have their own freedom and it's like all the money goes back to them. Whereas before, I guess unless you're like a really big star, you're just getting paid for the scene and then that's it. Doesn't matter how many views it gets or back in the day how many copies it sells. But now, if it's on your own platform, all the money comes back to you, minus whatever, the 20% or whatever that OnlyFans takes off the top, which is nothing compared to what used to happen. I've seen a lot of people online who used to be like at a specific studio and they would
Right.
only make films with that studio. And now they don't make films anymore. They only have their OnlyFans. And I mean, they're basically like Instagram influencers at this point,
That's
selling
smart
their
because you already
Andrew
have a
Christian
following.
underwear.
So why not make all the money come directly to you?
Exactly.
I might do an OnlyFans, but I would definitely not do any sexual acts on it. I'm not gonna be. You're not
Trash.
gonna see all of that type of thing. If I'm doing it, it's gonna be something specific, artistic, maybe some tasteful photos. Like we're talking on video right now, but you guys are not gonna be seeing this. I do have a really nice artsy photo I took for my birthday like 2 years ago.
In the
Uh,
nude.
I said artsy, tasteful. uh, but I would do more things like that than just being like busting it open. Like, no, we don't do that over here.
Well, still nudes. Kind
Yeah,
of. Just
tasteful
covered up.
though. It's like, wait,
I don't
I was
like
about to.
describing it as tasteful, actually.
I'm sorry. Well, how would you describe it?
It's just like it's a semi nude. But I think that
You know,
nudes can be tasteful too because we're sex positive and we celebrate bodies, all types of bodies.
do you?
So
Do
full
you?
full frontal can also be tasteful.
You keep
We're
singing
not
this
stush.
narrative about how you're sex positive and body positive. I'm not going to put your business out on Front Street, but we know you're not.
What?
It's the truth. That's tea. I'm not going to put you on Front Street. I'm just
Well, you just
saying we
did.
both know what the truth is. Everybody in
No.
the comments, go get him. You've been saying some real grimy shit, but I'm joking. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to comment on whatever platform you're listening to this on. It helps people find us. And check us out on YouTube. I post every week about Drag Race and a bunch of other things. Bye.